Yo, what's up, guys?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
Doing real well.
Yeah, thanks for having
Gerald
us.
Jones and Kevin Clark, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having us, man.
So, coming to us from, can we just label it Los Angeles?
That's
Yeah.
easy.
Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, from Los Angeles. So, how's the day so far? Morning so far?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. It had been raining a couple of days, so right now the skies are blue, the clouds are gone. It's a really nice day outside.
Yeah, we've had like 3 days of rain, which is unusual for LA.
Oh, so this is a global thing because that's what's been happening in South Africa.
Oh, is that
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like 4 seasons in one day. It'll start off with
Yeah.
rain, then the sun comes out, then there's wind, then it's sunny again, it's cloudy,
Oh,
then it
yeah.
rains. Yeah,
Must be global thing.
yeah.
That's funny.
Can we put it down to global warming, possibly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but this is winter time where you are, right?
So we've just come out of winter,
Just came out of
Just-
winter.
summer.
Okay.
Yeah. So you going into winter, correct?
Yeah. I think this is the week that we're going into winter. Yeah.
Right. The transition is about to happen. Yeah. So we're the complete opposite. So now we're out of winter. Ideally, it's supposed to be the summer months, but as I said, the weather has just been funny, but it should like clear up in the next week or so. And then from now until like early next year, say March, it'll be like sun all the way through.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
By the
Yeah.
way, can you hear a dog yapping right now?
Yeah, now that I'm paying attention to it, I guess.
I have a puppy. She's 4 months old. And
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. As soon as we got on the air with each other, she just started going crazy with her toy. So
Yeah.
so you might
Bring
hear
her
that.
on. Bring her on to the show.
Yeah, right?
If I could catch her, my goodness, she's going crazy.
Yeah. I had a guest once, but she had a cat, and the cat just wouldn't leave her alone. So she ended up just holding the cat the whole way through, So we're just 3 of
Oh,
us.
really? Yeah, that might boost view. Everybody loves cats on the internet, right?
I think the internet was made for cats.
Yeah. So, guys, long-time friends, over 20 years, or just about 20 years.
Yeah.
Over 20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Long time, eh?
We randomly met backstage at the Academy Awards. We were working there. We weren't being celebrated. But we were working backstage at the Academy Awards. Struck up a conversation and been friends for 20 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which year are we talking about here? Now, 2025. Which year did you guys meet?
I'm going to guess
Ooh.
05.
It was 04. I think it was
04?
04,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We're out 04.
But yeah, just over 20, going on 22 years, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. That's a throwback. Hey, I was still in primary school that time.
No, don't make us feel old. That's season. We might have to switch that thing and marry you. Yeah, so we look a little younger.
But you guys look like, you're that old. That's the honest truth.
Yeah,
Look at
lotion, so we look a little younger.
Now you're making me think about the days where life was less stressful.
Oh, I love those days. I love those days. Yeah.
But I
mean,
guess, you love what you're doing, no matter what it may be, makes the journey of life just so much more better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
I think also one of the upsides of getting older is the stress kind of rolls off you more. Because I remember I don't know if you remember being like 23, everything was the end of the world. Every problem was the end of the world. And now we'll live through this.
I think it's experience of having those stressful issues and then overcoming them and then looking back and saying, oh, you know what? This stressful situation led me to this positive situation.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. The blessings in disguise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blessn.
That's how I look at it now. Yeah, no, it's true. But when I look at the world today, when I look at the youth today, I'm a millennial, but I look at the Gen Zs today, like we could still handle it, It may have seemed like the end of the world in your early 20s, but we could still handle it. These days, there's a whole lot of anxiety going on, depression, suicide rates, within that age group is on a rise. It's crazy,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
what you guys are doing, which we're going to bring up, later on. First time I get to know the two of you better. What you're doing, what you're building is so beneficial for this day and age,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think Blessn is, Christian social media, but it's also a mental health resource because you feel good when you get off of Blessn and you scroll and it's not doom scrolling. So it's really good vibes when you get off.
Yeah, I think right now, I'm sure we're all guilty of this. I start scrolling on my phone way too early in the day. I don't know if you do the same thing, but like scrolling, man, I think that could be part of the mental health crisis you just brought up. It really could be, because if you're gonna put all that junk into your head as soon as you wake up, like you're gonna probably live with that for the rest of the day, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Since we're here, I was going to bring this up a bit later, but since we're here, like you label it doom scrolling, which I agree, we all guilty of it or have been guilty of it, especially when social media just started to blow up, right?
Yeah.
It was all that mattered, and to millions of people around the world, it's still all that matters. And it is affecting, mental health. Like another show that I co-host is called Talking Back to Suicide. And social media with all the guests from all around the world just keeps popping up. It is directly affecting how we go about our life in a negative manner because we're in this bubble. And once you're in that bubble, and the bubble pops, we don't know how to deal with reality after that. And there's expectations, and we see an influencer online, or we see someone else, possibly could be their lifestyle, possibly not, 70 to 75% not, right? And then you see that, and now that's how I want my life to be, not realizing that I've already got so much to be grateful for. And because I'm not getting through that sort of lifestyle, it's affecting me. My self-esteem is low, confidence low. I feel like life is just not worth living, Now here comes Blessn that is shifting the culture of social media. This is an ambitious goal, but I love the goal, man. It's a great goal, and I honestly feel that we need this. I've downloaded the app myself. I've been checking it out. I do want to sign up. I don't know, like I'm on the what have you labeled it on the app? A contributor.
Yeah,
Contributor. Yes.
Also a contributor on the app. So I'm there right now, but I've just been like, going to the feed, and I love the positivity. So let's start there, we can get to know your personal journey, how you guys met and so on, a bit later on. So let's start on the app itself, Blessn, what inspired this to happen?
Well, I'll tell it from my angle, and then I'll let him tell it from his angle, because I think we kind of converged on the same idea, not the actual Blessn idea, but the idea of social media kind of becoming dark and all that. But it was my first experience with social media, like short form videos like TikTok, was during the pandemic. So we were all locked inside, and somebody told me about TikTok, and it was like funny, it was kind of light, it was a lot of dancing, it was like people just having fun, right? It wasn't necessarily like faith-based, but it was like, very light. But I think that's been 5 years, goodness. Over 5 years later, I think the algorithm is more tilted towards kind of the negative, the arguing, the doom stuff, doom and gloom. So when he called me with this idea, because he came up with it 3 years ago, I was ready to hear something like this. And I'll let him take it from here because it was his idea when he called me. But when he called me, I was like, yeah, I love this. This is what the world needs.
Yeah, I think I was getting the same vibe from social media. I realized that, like we said, doom scrolling, it was just nonstop, first thing in the morning, nonstop, bad news, violence. And even if you're following a lot of positive accounts or Christian-based accounts, you'll get a couple of good ones, and then smack dab in the middle, you got somebody promoting something violent, or somebody got hit by a car, or somebody got a home invasion, or just stuff that you're shock value. And I was like, I can't take it. I just woke up and I'm already seeing all this bad news. when we were younger, we didn't see that stuff. We didn't see any bad news. There was no social media. If anything that was bad, you got on the newspaper or 5 o'clock news, which when we were young, we didn't even watch that. So now it's like young people are getting to the point where they're seeing bad news, regardless if they're following positive content.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, and it wasn't a fully formed idea at the time, but I called Kevin and I was like, hey, I have this idea. I think we need to do like a faith-based app. And then we kind of developed it over the time, and which turned out to become Blessn, where we kind of combined a way for influencers, positive influencers, to also monetize on the app. You see on social media, next you're scrolling and somebody's like exclusive content. Well, that exclusive content that they're selling doesn't align with our values. So over here, you can still, be faith-based. You can still monetize if you wanted to. But it's also just a fun social media app that you can just, enjoy and get positive, uplifting vibes.
Yeah. And developing the app, what was that process? I mean, did it take like a long time?
Yeah, neither of us are from that background.
Yeah, it took us 2.5 years of development, fixing, fine-tuning, testing. I mean, a lot of that stuff in order to get to the point where we are now, where we're just launching, because we wanted to make it perfect. And we both had very high hopes and expectations for the product. We wanted people to feel welcome when they got there, to feel safe. So it was a lot of back and forth me and Kevin went through to kind of find the right tone and to make it as user-friendly as possible.
So the dog is now attacking us from behind. This poster is going to go over any ticket.
Which is good content.
What's her name?
Willow. Should I try to bring her on the podcast? Next time she comes by, I'll bring her on the podcast.
Willow, welcome to the show.
So I think also part of developing was crazy because we've never developed an app or anything. So when you start out trying to develop a business, where would you go first to even start researching? Google, right? Or wherever, somewhere like that. Maybe now ChatGPT. But so we just got hit with all these developers saying we can do it. And we found out very quickly that just because somebody says they can develop your app for you doesn't mean they can develop your app. So we learned that the hard way. We circled back, started all over after about 9-10 months of work. Started all over with our own team, people that we paid to work directly for us to develop it. So that was a tough lesson to learn, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you were talking about 2020, and I mean, we were all caught up, in the rush. There were plenty of influencers around the world that were actually pushing to TikTok, to grow their brand, get their content out there.
Yeah.
And not all of them had bad intentions. If I look at Gary V, are you familiar with Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Also in the States. I mean, I've been following him since 2020. Before that, I never know him. But then COVID hits, and now you're sitting at home, and you start looking for positive content. What do I do next? Which direction do I go with my business? And I came from an events background, so there was a complete, shutdown. There was nothing else to do. Getting involved with Gary V, purchasing his book, that got me to say, okay, let me start a podcast now. Let me start talking about the entertainment industry. So there was a lot of positive vibes, but then also, pushing, TikTok. So now, how do you feel now in the position you're in? Because now you are direct competition to that narrative. Are you overwhelmed about that?
Oh, to the narrative of be on TikTok?
Yeah, because technically speaking, you're going up, against the influences such as Gary V.
Well, I'll say this, and you can take it a different direction, but I welcome Gary V. If he wants to put up, faith-based or family-friendly content on Blessn, come aboard, Gary V. I don't know. I know what you're talking about, though, because I see these ads every day that are essentially saying no matter who you are, you should be promoting yourself on TikTok like crazy. And I've always thought that's a funny message because there's a lot of people in the world that won't get much out of promoting themselves on TikTok. So I don't actually know how to feel about that. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like we're competition. I think that we have a platform that has a very niche market and we're brand new. And you've seen how creators on Vine and TikTok very early on went into these platforms and became super successful. So I think this opening Blessn right now gives people a new platform where they can become successful. If they're an early adopter, they jump on. They basically monopolize the audience because while we're building and promoting, they're one of the top faces on the app. So Gary Vee or somebody who's just starting out coming over to Blessn, I think is going to be a positive experience. Also, it depends on what your values are. Some people's values don't want to align with what they see on TikTok, or they don't want their audience to scroll and see their positive message and then again scroll and see somebody getting attacked or an animal being hurt or something like that. So if they're on Blessn, it's somewhat of a competition with TikTok or Instagram, but mainly I think we have a very unique platform. And I mean, everybody's welcome. If you're the biggest TikTok star or biggest Instagram star or celebrity, all the way down to somebody who just wants to build their name and get their message out there.
Yeah, I think actually you made a good point too, that you were saying you came across Gary Vee in 2020. Is that what you said?
Yeah, in 2020.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess 2020 in my mind is the year that like TikTok became a big thing. I know it existed prior to that. It even had a different name prior to that. But in my mind, 2020 is when TikTok became a big thing. So right now is the 2020 of Blessn.
Yeah.
If people jump in now, they'll be some of the first folks in.
Like TikTok was still in its early stages, in 2020. Like it was there like for a while, but like 2020, that's when there was like hectic promotion going on, TikTok, grow your brand, TikTok, build your business, TikTok. What leads me to with Blessn, would you use TikTok to promote Blessn as like I use it to promote the podcast?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's so many eyeballs on TikTok. I think for some people, it's not even a choice. They just like their hand picks up their phone and goes to TikTok before maybe their brain registers what they're doing, So we'll be on TikTok.
Yeah. And even if you're an influencer on TikTok, you're probably also an influencer on Facebook or on Instagram or YouTube. So most of these influencers are using multiple platforms. So just because you're on one platform doesn't mean you're not going to be on Blessn. So yeah, we'd advertise to these people on TikTok. And if the message hits them and they feel like, oh, I want to extend my brand over to Blessn also, we're not really stealing anybody from TikTok. We're basically, join the fold. Also, you have a great message, bring it over to Blessn also.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I'm an influencer listening to the podcast right now, like what would Blessn like offer me to come to the platform to influence it, to promote?
Well, I think he said it best just now. This is kind of we do have some NBA players on Blessn. We do have some relatively known influencers on Blessn already. But if somebody came over now, they'd be kind of in the first wave of people coming aboard Blessn. I think that's a good position to be in, If you're going to be an early mover, I think you will make out the most.
Yeah, instead of being lost in the sea of other influencers, millions or hundreds of millions of influencers on some of these other platforms, jumping in early on Blessn means you have very little competition, very little, you're not going to get lost in the sea of other influencers. So somebody pops on and they'll see your message right away. They'll see, oh, wait, I like this guy. Let me follow him. And then they start following you from then on. And all of a sudden, while we're growing, you're also growing. So it's kind of a partnership. You come in as an influencer. We come in and try to promote you and your brand.
Hello.
Welcome. The third partner.
She looks happy to be here.
Something about your voice. She has had so much energy since we started this podcast. He's been
Positive vibes, you know, positive vibes.
Yeah, she could kill your
Man, positive vibes.
She's going crazy.
You know,
Mm.
that's what these animals do pick up on that, you know. Like if animals are afraid of you, it's negative vibes. You know,
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So they like you, I take it.
If you got good vibes, get on Blessn.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, when I look at, you know, social media when it all first started, whether it was Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know, it was always all the same, you know. Like if you had 100 friends on Facebook when it first started off and you went on and you posted something, 100 friends saw it, no doubt. You know, now you still have to pay for that same 100 friends to actually see the content. Not everyone is seeing your content anymore. And that's just the nature of the business. So where do you see Blessn in the next 5 years?
Oh, good.
Let's think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really hope that we grow and people jump on and support Blessn. We're going to be supporting it. This was a calling for us. Once we came up with the idea, we really felt like it was a calling. So we went all in and invested a lot of time and energy and faith into this project. So, I mean, we're going to support it forever. It's just like a baby. We want it to just grow and bring all the influencers in. So I think 5 years from now, with the support that Kevin and I are going to be giving it and the amount of attention we're giving it to trying to adapt it and make it as user-friendly as possible, I think we're going to be one of the top 3 social media platforms. I hope so.
Yeah.
We have high hopes for Blessn. There's so many people who need it right now. The world is such a beautiful place, and we need to share that uplifting moments, and this is the place to do it.
Yeah. Ask, believe, receive.
Yes.
There you go.
know, ask, believe, receive. Like when you're truly passionate about it, which I can tell, you know, the two of you are, there is no doubt that you will succeed. You know, it takes time, goes in steps, but you will eventually succeed. As long as you're consistent, you know, and you're doing it for the right reasons. This is for the benefit of humanity. This is for the benefit of future generations to come. And honestly, the amount of users on these platforms need an app like Blessn. They need it. Yeah, sure, stay on TikTok, you know, for whatever reason you're using it for, on Facebook or Instagram. You know, use it for the right reasons. You know, that's what I always say. Like, I'm on each and every single social media platform, but it's for the promotion of my brand. You know, not scrolling. What did my neighbor do yesterday? Oh, look, he's single again. You know, come on. It's irrelevant to my life. You know, what benefit does it bring you, you know? And that's my message, you know, I want to say proudly, loudly on the show, yeah. If it's not bringing any value to you and your growth, you know, and your well-being, you shouldn't be doing it. And you're right. And one thing I learned, you know, about like Facebook and Instagram is, but as you said in the start, you know, no matter how much you adjust the algorithm, you're still going to come across, you know, something negative that's happening in the world.
I don't know. Have you ever done that?
Across it. And now
Sorry, continue. I'm sorry. Continue. Where you accidentally you hover over the wrong thing for just a little too long. And now for the rest of the day, you get that for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, algorithm gods, no.
Exactly. You know, the algorithm is getting so advanced, you know. Now you don't even need to use hashtags, right? If your caption mentions something like Britney Spears, for example, in the caption, the algorithm is now picking up on the caption. Oh, he posted about Britney Spears, so now we're going to show him Britney Spears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and let's not forget how smartphones are actually listening to you. I mean, this is a real thing, you know. And I got verification of another guest as well, because I was chilling one day with a friend of mine, and I started talking about Justin Bieber. It was something about his catalog sales, something of the sort. I don't follow Justin Bieber on Instagram, right? You know, I don't know the last time I saw a post about Justin Bieber on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, fan of the music, love the music, it was cool vibe, cool. But as I turned back to the phone, guess what was the next post?
Yes, I've been there. It's scary.
Yeah,
It's scary when that happens. You're like, what? I was just talking about this. But
Yeah,
what
well,
I like is about what you were saying earlier about Gary Vee. You stuck with him because he was positive. He made you feel good. He gave you inspiration. You bought his book. So that's the kind of vibe we want to push over here at Blessn. So you come over here, you're going to get a lot of fun. It's not just all, you know, preaching, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be people sharing their talents. and also people who are inspiring to you and to the audience to say, oh yeah, I feel good now. I feel like I can go out and start a business, or I can go out and start my own podcast. Like if you were on Blessn, you would share your journey, and your journey will inspire other people who say, I'm going to start my own podcast. I want to share my story with someone else. So that's what we want to bring over here. Just positive vibes, growth, and inspire people to be the best version they can.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And the world is a beautiful world, you know, and it's up to individuals such as ourselves. It's up to apps such as Blessn to actually show that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
It's easy to forget that.
Yeah,
I think-
exactly. You know.
Yeah, I think if you're scrolling all day, I don't think the algorithm really rewards fun and light, and because I get a lot of negative on TikTok and the other ones. So I think people need to be reminded that the world is a beautiful place. It's pretty easy to forget that.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. And do you guys have like current plans or future plans to like integrate this with, churches, Christian organizations?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think everybody's welcome. If you look on Blessn, there is categories, and one of the categories is organization. So if you're a youth organization, a church, a nonprofit, or any organization who wants to build awareness for their brand, bring it to Blessn. If this is the audience you're looking for, which is faith-based or really positive vibes, you can put your organization on here and start an account under your organization's name. And if you're posting positive stuff, people are going to see it. If you have a youth group that has like meetings once a month, you can post it on Blessn, and you're going to grow your brand, and you're going to reach people who are going to say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Where? Oh, it's in Orange County. Okay, I'm going to go to that youth group. So yeah, we're open to anybody. Businesses, of course, all the influencers, actors, athletes, and organizations who want to build awareness, and great for outreach.
Yeah. And this is global. I mean, I went onto the website and I could download it. It never tell me not available in your country yet.
Yes, everyone's welcome.
Have you run into that? Like trying to download American apps or something?
Yeah. There's a few, and they say that it's not available in South Africa yet, coming soon, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes coming soon can be a good couple of years, but it's all good. It's all cool. So that was quite dope that I could go into the website and I could download it on the Play Store. And then I was just, scrolling, checking it out. Yeah, I love the vibe. Honestly, did love the vibe.
Oh, thanks, man. We appreciate
Just
that a lot.
Everyone is like, pushing out there. So I'm planning to spend more time on it. Let's see how that unfolds. Yeah. So the app itself, Blessn, is completely funded by the two of you. There's no crowdfundings happening, that sort of thing.
All self-funded. Everything we poured into Blessn is between the two of us. So we think about Blessn all day, all night. I dream about Blessn. All our funds go to Blessn. So yeah, we love this app and we love the meaning behind it. And we really, hope that people start enjoying it as much as we love it.
Yeah. So besides the website, there's no other like a Blessn Facebook page, Instagram page, so that's not anything happening where listeners can go to.
Yeah, there is.
We just launched it. So the app officially launched the 15th. So it's only been a couple of days. And so we just started with our other social media platforms to kind of raise awareness for Blessn. So yeah, you can follow us on, I think, every single platform there is.
Yeah, cool, man. I wish you guys all the best with this app. Honestly, it's needed. It's really needed. When someone who observes the world a lot, like I do, there's something missing here, and we need something to replace the negativity, the anxiety, the depression. And this is a great project to do that.
Yeah.
Ambitious goal, to get millions of people to start being like, okay, I want to start living my life in a positive manner now. I'm going to stop consuming all the negative material. The ambitious goal is for that conversion to happen, but it's doable. Doable.
Yeah. I mean, I even find myself waking up and instead of going straight to TikTok or Instagram, I'm going to Blessn. And it's not just because, we're the owners of it. It's also, there's some creators on there that I already have found inspiration in. There's like creators on there that I'm like, oh, they got a really good message this morning. And if it's just like a good morning, I'm going on a walk, it's a windy day, it's beautiful outside. That alone is like me, like, yeah, it is a beautiful day. I feel good. And that's what I want to share with the entire world, is that feeling of waking up, seeing something positive. You scroll through it, somebody's doing a flip or somebody's being silly, and then you get a positive message in there. So I think it's a great app. And, coming from the, one of the founders of it, but also just as a user of it, I've already started to enjoy it, and we're just started.
I think we'll probably be able to avoid some of what you were touching on earlier about, how people use social media, I think, to show off like their perfect life. And it's, obviously very curated. Nobody's living a perfect life. I'm hoping we can kind of avoid that. Maybe everybody be a little more down to earth and grounded. Because I got carried away with that, curating the heck out of my profiles online. Like it was all vacation photos or I'm deeply in love photos. I think I participated in the downfall of social media.
We all have. You all guilty. That's why we can speak about it. It's coming from experience, and how it affected our lives and what we attempted to do in our personal capacity to make our lives better. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of, broke up the girlfriend. Okay, let me go to social media, make her look bad. I did that in school.
Exactly.
This is human nature. It's how it was. And now when you look back on it, you're like, okay, I did it, but it wasn't healthy for me. Oh my life. Oh my God.
No, I actually went through. I cleaned up my Facebook years ago. I think I went through and I erased all the photos that are supposed to make my life look awesome. I was like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. What do you think is worse, though? Do you think that's worse for society, mental health of society, or do you think the doom and gloom is worse?
Is there a difference?
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's on the same playing field for me. Both is critically important to address. I can't say the one is better than the other.
Yeah.
What's your thought on it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've got a daughter who is heading into her preteens right now.
Yeah.
So I think a lot about, the braggy posts, the posts that are very curated to make somebody's life look amazing. And so I do wonder, when she sees her friends at school posting like that, how will that affect her? But then I think about when she gets, let's say she gets into early 20s and she's starting to consume news about the world. And the algorithm tells her the sky is falling and everything's on fire and things are terrible. I think maybe adulthood is when that will start to affect her. I know it affected me. I've actually been practicing the art of disengagement, not consuming news all day long. So I don't know. Maybe it all depends on where you're at in life. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's where you're at in life. You go through different stages in life. When you're younger, you're going to see a lot of that, like you were saying.
The brags.
Everybody's life is perfect. Why am I not on a private jet? Why am I not on, at these parties that everybody's at? And then
why do I not have the perfect
summer
body time?
Body type, stuff like that. So that's a lot of pressure for the younger people and older people also, because there's always this idea of what the perfect situation is. So yeah, I think it depends on where you're at in life and finding a safe place where you can be yourself and you can tell stories that how you went through these troubles and you came out on the other side. I think that's a
people like that.
Yeah. So I think that's great for Blessn. If you have a story about how you overcame this hard situation, or you look like you were going down the wrong path and then that path actually led to something positive. I mean, we've all been there when you thought, oh man, this is it. This is the worst situation. It can't get any worse than this. I lost my job. But we never know what that will lead to until you look back 5 years later and be like, oh man, if it wasn't for that really bad situation, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So yeah, it was a blessing in disguise at the moment.
Yeah.
So
you were on lockdown and discovered Gary Vee I'm sure lockdown wasn't fun for you, I imagine.
Yeah.
But you got something big out of it, didn't you?
Yeah. We wouldn't be having this conversation now if it wasn't for the lockdown. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. But
All the inspirational stories we want to share on our app is so that people can, if they are having a mental health crisis or starting to feel bummed out, and they scrolling through the app and they see somebody talking about how, oh, I lost my job during the pandemic, and then 5 years later I'm here and I'm having fun and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. That's what we want to bring to the world, is all these positive stories and uplifting moments in other people's lives and how they got through some of the turmoil they had.
Yeah. Using your daughter's example, there is a lot of pressure when it comes to teens these days.
Oh, yeah.
We see it. Maybe they don't see it, but the pressure is there because we're comparing our life. The daily unnecessary bragging and posting is happening. It's happening in school. It's happening in universities. It's happening out of school. You also mentioned older generations. They've also been caught up in this craziness. I'm going to label it craziness because now you're sitting, after a long day with your family at dinner, for example, and everyone is on their phone. We're not interacting with each other. We're not having a conversation. We're not asking each other, how was the day? What did you get up to? Nothing. So as parents, we also need to lead by example as well. There needs to be after a certain time, no phones for anyone in the household. No phones at all. Family.
Do you have kids also?
No, I don't.
Okay. Liz, it's funny.
But I just see it,
Oh, you're not wrong. I see tables of teenagers on their phones rather than talk. I see tables of 70-year-olds on their phones instead of talking.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten all of us,
Yeah.
And taking
If
picture
you're
of
waiting
your food.
past 15 minutes for anything, you pick up your phone. You just can't. You freak out.
Exactly. Taking a picture of, all right, check what I'm eating tonight. Like, oh, what is that?
Yeah. I was once interrupted on a date because the food arrived and I started to dig in, and she did not like that at all. She's like, stop it. We haven't taken pictures yet.
I think we've all experienced that, there's a lot of throwback memories happening here. And you're just trying to make sense of it. It just doesn't make sense, I was also in a relationship once, and this was, her making the food, right? But, you make something special, like once in a while, you're like, okay, wow, and she wants to record this to post it online. And I'm like, what? Like, this is our personal life. You know what I'm saying? Why do we need to do that? It's insane. It's really insane. But, I hope that all of us, collectively, start to really make an impact. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's our whole goal, is just to try to make an impact on the world. And that's why we felt so passionate about this project and really put our all into this project, because we want to make an impact. We're just, we felt a calling to do this, and then we just couldn't stop. There was and we've been through a lot of ups and downs on this journey, 2.5 years. You can imagine the stress we've been through.
We should have videotaped that. Yeah.
Oh, I know. That is a story. That would take a couple of podcasts. It was so stressful, but we came out on the other side, and we're still pushing the podcast. I mean, not the podcast. We're pushing the app, and by the way, you're our very first podcast, so we're super excited to be here to be the number one.
I've learned an important lesson on this podcast, and that's to put that dog in another room.
I think the puppy, it brought a little to the.
Yeah. It's something like I will never edit. Like, I'm one of those podcasters where I keep the show 100% organic. Because I want people to realize that we are human as well. We're on the topic of social media. There's so many fake podcasters out there. It's like they just edit out all the organic, real parts of the conversation. Like, it doesn't matter who you have on the show, whether you're starting off, whether you're here, Doesn't matter. Like, show the human side, because that's what people want to connect with these days, need to connect with these days. You know, by you editing those organic human parts out of the show, it's sort of, for me, my opinion, you like telling people, oh no, that guest is here and I'm here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So what does it do for one's self-esteem that has a goal, you know, to be like that app developer, that creator, that musician, that
Right.
author, you know?
That's a good point, because if they think of like somebody who developed an app or a famous musician or normal musician as, oh, they have something I don't, well, then they may not strive to do that.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, we don't have anything that you don't. Whatever we have, you definitely have.
Yeah, exactly.
Passion,
We all
you
want
bring it.
it.
If you want it and you believe in it, you know,
Mhm.
like, and it was when I was a kid, they used to say, if you believe it and can conceive it, you can achieve it.
I like
And
that.
I learned that in like elementary school,
Mm.
and it's stuck with me to this day. I still know the saying. So if you believe it and you can conceive it, you can achieve it. And there's going to be some roadblocks, and those are just testing you to see your resolve. Can
Yeah.
I jump over this hurdle and keep pushing forward? Can I get knocked down and keep going forward? So, I mean, we've done it. We've had some knockdowns and we're still pushing forward. So if
Mhm.
anybody is watching this podcast and needs some inspiration, look to us, because I mean, even DM us on Blessn.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you guys, tell me about this journey. We'd love to share. I mean, I've been smiling the whole time because I know how much struggle we had in the past. So
I think the sentence that we say to each other the most is probably, well, that didn't go to plan. That didn't go the way I thought it would. I think we say that 7 times a week.
oh yeah. So
No, but
there's
it's just
going
part
to
of
be hurdles.
What'd you say?
Yeah, no, I just say that it's part of the process, you know.
Yeah.
And listeners need to understand that, you know, like if you want to build something that's going to take time, you know, back to capturing the moment. When you're building something meaningful, you don't think about, oh yeah, let me record this. Let me post about, you know, what I'm doing, you know, behind the scenes. You don't think about that because you're so glued on to how do I get this part of the project, you know, right, whatever it may be. You know, it's going to take time.
Sometimes right is not right either. Like sometimes what you think is the right thing, you quickly discover like, nope, that's wrong. And so you got to roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what I've learned is that, you know, I've stopped looking at roadblocks, you know, as you mentioned, as, you know, this is happening to me, but it's rather happening for me. And what can I learn out of this? You know, back to a blessing in disguise. And this I actually got from doing a Winston Churchill course, because, you know, this was actually quoted just after World War II. And when I look at the blessings and disguises, I'm learning something from that experience. And I needed to learn that in order to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, because I've prayed, I told God, look, God, you know, one-on-one conversation between you and I, this is where I want to be. God is like, okay, cool. You know, he's not going to say, oh, okay, now I'm going to get you there tomorrow. No. Okay, Kino, you want to get there. I need to take you through this first.
That's
Before
right.
we-
Yeah.
That can take years.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
years.
And also, don't forget the thing you said, like, okay, I'm going to take you through this. Guess what your best memories are going to be? Going through this, and this. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, those are the best memories you're going to have. Everybody wants to skip from here to there. No, that would be terrible, because everything in between is the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes heartbreaking stuff, but it's the fun stuff too.
Yeah.
100%
If you're
enjoy
going
the
through it, it
process.
doesn't feel fun, but you look back and you're like, remember when
Yeah.
this master? It kind of brings you and it builds up that, you know, your toughness.
Yeah.
And that toughness is what's going to get you to the next stage. And then while something else tough comes along, you'll be like, I can handle this.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then when you look back, you know, on your life, when you reflect on it, you know, who I was 5 years ago, and then I compare to where I am now, I'm like, wow, that's a big difference. You know, and you sound like
so-
proud of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those 5 years that you've been through, do you have key moments that you were like, oh, I'm never gonna get past this. This is terrible. and then you quickly found out that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. You go to bed and then you think, sure, what happened?
Yeah.
Why is this not working out? Okay, I'm just going to sleep it out. Next morning you wake up, you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're back again, and it takes a lot.
It
But that's where the passion comes in again. Like I always tell people, like, because going back to social media, because of all the influences out there, that's what makes people think they, can become millionaires and billionaires, overnight, but doing stuff that, they're totally not happy about doing anyway, which is going to affect them, as they get older. Because, as we've been discussing, you haven't enjoyed anything. There's no memories that I can take away from this. So I tell people that if God had to give me, for example, right, $10 million, right now, would I be happy? Would I be satisfied? I'd be rich. But what would be the meaning of my life?
Yeah.
Would I, let's just say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I won the lotto or something, and years that I got $5, $10 million, would I be doing what I'm doing now? Possibly not.
No.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't. What would be
Yeah.
the meaning of my life?
Yeah.
And I think God puts these roadblocks and puts these obstacles in your way to build you into the person you need to be in order to be successful. If you just got it without any of the struggle, it'd probably crumble. Because you've built yourself up, you've created this toughness and this resolve in order to handle anything. So God puts these obstacles in you. You're like, God, why are you doing this to me? I just want to help people. I want to create this app. And because we went through these struggles, it builds you up so we can just keep going and keep pushing forward. So everything you've been through while you're putting this podcast together and all of those struggles have put you here today where, we can sit here and be on your podcast.
Yeah. Talking to awesome entrepreneurs that are changing the world.
We're trying.
How could be better,
Exactly.
Like, I mean, when I first started the podcast, it was after I read, Gary Vee's book, Crush It. I'm like, okay, I've been doing video content. I've been communicating with people, while, the hardest thing in life is trying to inspire people around you while still keeping yourself afloat psychologically. That takes a lot of strength, So here I am in 2020, it's lockdown. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm in the entertainment industry. There's so many people that are going through anxiety right now, an uncertain future. They're thinking, what's next? Let me push out positive content. But while pushing out the positive content, I'm like, oh shit, I still got to deal with my life. But you just like work through it. That's what I was doing. And then I'm like, okay, let me get on to doing a podcast now, just got this cheap mic. I was like, okay, cool, let me go for it. I'll put the first show out there. This is 2021, early 2021. 2021, 2022, 2023. Each and every single week, I showed up just talking about the entertainment creative industry by myself.
Didn't even have a partner.
So here comes, no. And there's a question I do want to ask you guys, before you leave about that. So here comes 2024, right? Here comes the first PR agency that reaches out to me. Hey, we listened to your show. Would you love to interview, our clients? I'm like, what? This is for real. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
So that was like a seminal moment for you.
Yeah. That was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then after that, by end of 2024, another PR agency, got on board. Then I had all the individual requests, from all these awesome creators just reaching out, hey, can I be on the show? Now I got, you guys via Tamara, that's recent,
Yeah.
that's
That's
recent.
right.
I don't even know how she came across the podcast, and I'm not even going to ask how. I'm just going to leave it
It was a gift from above. The conversation, but your story is inspiring me. So, these are the stories we want to share with all of your viewers, and you're inspiring people who are watching you right now. So, it was just a gift, and we're just super happy to be on your podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm super happy that you're here, That's the thing, one thing I can say, about the show is that all the guests that come on, whatever they may be doing, it's the first time that Blessn has been on a podcast, but this is also the first time that an app app developers have been on the podcast as well. So both sides. But it's also, it's also a form of creativity, So, but the authors, the musicians, the record label executives that have come on, it's just positive vibes. Yeah, they're here to talk about their product, about their career, about their book, about their music, about their label, but they also share so much positivity for the up and coming creators as well. And I just love that, Not once has someone come on where it's just me, automatic. Now, all of us collectively, pushing this positive narrative, that's how we change the world, make it better.
Yeah. I like that point. I mean, we could all sit around and complain, or we could do what you're doing, what we're doing,
And I think that's what's really great about your podcast. It's so conversational. It doesn't feel like an interview. It feels like we're having a great conversation, and anybody who's watching is kind of peeking in on this great conversation. So it really feels good just to be on your podcast. So just what you're doing is excellent. It's just great.
Yeah. So 2024 was the beginning of a new phase. So maybe 2026 is the beginning of another new phase. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah. For me right now, keep growing the podcast. Like a profit runs as a non-profit. So it's under a network that I created that currently consists of 3 podcasts. Now, it's this podcast, which is dedicated, committed to the creative space. So, as I said, when I started this off in 2021, it was to empower young creators, more specifically to the music industry, which is where I'm involved in. So it was like, you don't need a record label, you don't need this person or that person. You can be your own PR, you can be your own distributor, your own publisher, your own label. So I was communicating this huge transition that was happening in the music industry, which is, get even more advanced now with artificial intelligence. So it's how do I adapt now as an independent creative in that space? And, from there, went on to authors, a PR agency in Canada, reached out. It was like, would you love authors on the show? And I was like, yeah, sure. Because what I evaluated was that there's not much of a difference between the music industry and the book industry. The struggles are the same. The success is the same. The process is the same. The end product is different. So, I was like, okay, cool. Let's do that. So I want to keep building this. And then other podcast, which I mentioned, is called Talking Back to Suicide. And I co-hosted with a retired psychiatrist. She's based out in Oregon. So that airs every Tuesday where, we're tackling mental illness. Now, she has a history, of mental illness in a personal capacity. And of course, working as a psychiatrist, as a child psychiatrist. So she was actually one of my first guests, on the show last year. And then she came on. We had this 2.5-hour conversation, talking about mental illness. And then a couple months down the line, she reached out to me and said, Kino, you know what? I want to start my own podcast, under her NGO. And I would love you to be a co-host on the show. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I love, what you want to do. Yes, so let's do it. And that kicked off, quite well. And then there's an author, he's based in Canada. So we got into a really dope conversation once talking about, tribalism around the world and how divided the world actually is, and what can we do actually to bring more unity in the world. So then we started off another show, which is called Creating Team Human. I mean, we've hit the Gaza Strip, humanitarians in the Gaza Strip that will come onto the show to tell us what's really happening there versus what mainstream media is saying. We've been to Afghanistan. This is a Taliban-run country, right? Women in the country are so restricted, especially with education, right? There's no internet access. So they got funding from an organization that's in the States to, it's online courses and so on. The Taliban government doesn't even know this is happening, right? This is how stupid they actually are. Honest. So they don't even know. The Taliban government doesn't even know what a VPN is. They don't even know that students in the country have actually got access to it because they're getting international sponsorship. So that's how I managed to bring them on to the podcast because they had VPN access. And then, 8 of them came on. They shared their story, their voices, their opinions, and they're doing so much awesome work for the empowerment for, the people in the country, not only the females, but also the males, because they're so oppressed in the country. So now they're sharing their voices with the world without the government even knowing,
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's what that show is about. So
and that's your third show?
Yeah, that's the third show that we have currently under the name.
Say the name of it again.
Creating Team Human.
Creating Team Human. I love that. So the goal seems to be to break down the us versus them tribalism and hear voices, real human voices that maybe the West doesn't hear in the nightly news or, on wherever they go for their news.
Yeah. Actually, no one knows, what's really happening in a specific area, a specific country, So we're just giving people, that voice. We've hit Mid-Africa as well, humanitarians that are based there, where it's like water shortages, food shortages. And, why it's around tribalism is because tribalism seems to be like the main cause of it. But if you get the people to actually start working together, that's how we can actually resolve these issues. Because the government in these countries, got their own narrative or version of the story that's keeping them divided, and that's built by design. So now what we try to attempt to do with the show now is give the humanitarian a voice so we can spread the word that will hopefully bring these people, together with that international support, where they can say, hey, what they're telling us, doesn't have to be this way. Let's work together to address the food shortages, the water shortages, educational issues, because the people have the power.
Yes. Yeah.
So
What I really like is that you grew your first podcast and started adapting and started, taking on different messages and just growing. And you met two different people from the first podcast in order to start the second and third podcast. So you just never know where this road's going to take you. You're growing your business, you're growing your brand, you're building upon it and just adapting to the situation, which is really inspiring.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens next year, and hopefully, more shows, start to come our way, and we just keep at it. That's all we can really
keep
do.
The message going, keep the message out there, and everything's going to come in and just keep growing if you just keep following your passion, following your dreams.
Yeah, I love that. The anti-tribalism. That's you've got a new listener. Like, that's really inspiring.
Yeah. So just go on, search for Creating Team Human. It's still in its early stages, even though we had phenomenal guests that came on. But potential, the potential is there. It first started off as a panel. That ideally was the goal. So we would have this panel of 10 humanitarians, spread across the world that's going to come on, and then we're going to discuss the issues at hand. So the first panel kicked off last year, November. We had 10 humanitarians based all around the world. They came on, and we all just had a discussion about, the state of the world as it is and what we can do. And then take it home to our own organizations, our own communities, and spread the word. That was all. But then, we ended up in a situation where this one wasn't available, this guy's available, okay, then he's not available, then she's available. So we said, okay, let's start doing like sort of individual shows, and then we'll have a panel, like maybe every quarter, every 2 months, depending how it goes. So that is still, the goal for 2026. We even had a guy who was from the United Nations, come on, so that was also quite cool to tell us, what's happening there. And we talked about, the SDG goals and what's the mandate for 2030. There's a lot of discrepancies when you look at those goals. So hopefully this is actually accomplished by 2030. But then when I start posting about this on TikTok, you get people, coming on and saying the United Nations is corrupt. The United Nations does not know what they're doing. But this is what I wanted. Let's start the conversation. Let's
get
start
the conversation started. Yes.
Exactly. Because, no like totalitarian organization can stop this. Because once I post it, I'm not scared to post it. If I could take on the Taliban government, come on, who you, right?
All these people from all these nations and joining people and spreading word, which is one of the great things about the internet is that the outreach is so huge and you can connect people from all over the world with your podcast. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I love that. That's really cool.
I'm even thinking like in the future to come with Creating Team Human, my mind going wild here, like how could we fit Blessn into that mandate?
Yeah.
To eliminate
Well, I'm looking at
criticism.
is Team Human on Blessn yet? Because we got a spot for you.
Yeah,
You signed up now.
Oh goodness, I do need
guys
to.
want to-
The puppy's eating something. Give me 1 sec.
Cut. The puppy's eating paper. What?
Here we go, listeners. 100% organic, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our daily life.
Oh man, it's cute. It's this little guy. It's just you see the puppy. It's just the cutest little thing.
yeah.
He's over here. He got I don't know what he got. Some paper from somewhere. Oh, you're in trouble. It's his daughter's homework. You might even say, truthfully, the dog ate my homework.
Yeah. No lies here. Let me put your father to check.
I promise you, stole away my homework. I got photo evidence.
I was on a podcast and yeah,
Oh, you
and
might-
we even got the
Listen.
recording to prove it.
Yeah. She's gonna use this as evidence when she goes back to school.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that's where my mind is. That's how I start thinking. How can I bring individuals together, such as yourself, with humanitarians, to be like, okay, how can we promote the app in order to make this goal happen? Is there a way?
Yes.
Is there a solution? And that's how we go about it. That's what I start thinking about. Connect.
I like
everybody.
that.
What can we
Yeah,
do?
solution oriented.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just got to ask, one question, before you guys leave. Like, what keeps you guys together? Now, I'm talking from personal experience as well. I have had
mean us as partners or mentally together?
as partners, because I've had many partners that have come and go, and they just did not see the vision. They were there for like a year or so, then they just got carried away because they don't have the vision. Like, what keeps you guys together?
I can speak from my perspective, and I'm very curious about your perspective. I think
Wait, before you answer, let me add something else to it. Let me add some sauce on this question.
All right.
Right? Besides blessing, besides your business, and everything else in between, like from a personal human point of view as friends, what keeps you guys, together?
Well, I've always thought that we laugh at ourselves. Like, if he'll call me, he'll laugh at himself talking about life. If I call him, I laugh at myself and make fun of myself. I think it's like a friendship where we don't take ourselves really seriously, which is great, because then we can like shift tones and talk about business and then be serious. But the phone calls are always about us as friends first. And I think we have very similar outlooks on life. I think we have very similar values. So for me, and I think what you asked is funny because we have, we have tax accountants, and they asked me a year ago, so how long have you and your business partner been doing businesses together? I thought, goodness, almost 20 years. And they told me the average length of a business partnership is 1 year. So I thought, whoa, wow, we must be doing something right.
Yeah.
But I really do think, from my opinion, is there's a famous couple named the Gottmans, and they talk about romantic relationships, but it applies to all human relationships. And they talk about the ratio of positive things to negative things said within a relationship. So even when we're under tremendous stress, we will joke around for 20 minutes and ask each other what's going on in our lives before we get down to maybe the negative business of the day. So I think we kept that ratio of positive to negative really in line in the proper way. And I don't think either one of us ever assumes the worst about each other either. I think we always assume the other person had good intentions. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think after 20 years of being tested, our friendship being tested, people trying to separate our friendship, our businesses, and just we always joke that like our two brains equals one real brain. So it's like when we think together, it's like what I'm missing from the outlook on something Kevin brings to it, and whatever sometimes he's not seeing, I'm seeing. So it just feels like we really connected over the past 20 plus years of being friends first, and our goals are always seem to be aligned. And there's no jealousy, there's not a lot of like disagreements, and we learn to read each other's moods. So I know sometimes I got like super anxious about the site, Blessn, or any other business we've worked on together. Get super anxious about it, and I'll call Kevin, and it'll automatically diffuse the situation where I forgot I was anxious, and we're laughing and joking, like you were saying, and then we're like, all right, let's tackle this thing. And then we just tackle it together like, okay, I can't handle this, dude. You got to handle this portion, and vice versa. So I think it's just 20 plus years of friendship and just being aligned and having the same values and trusting each other to do, each part. Everybody, has to play their own part. I think it's very rare. I think it's really very rare to find somebody who's not going to be out trying to impress somebody else. Like, I'm the business owner over here, or I'm the leader of this thing. We're always, it's we, whatever we're saying. Oh, the project we are working on now. Like, I'm working on this and this. So the we thing, and I think any other founders out there, try to use we in your vocabulary instead of I. And I think that will really help, like, bring you guys together. And that's it. I don't know how it works, honestly.
Yeah.
I think
You said it well. I think you said it really well.
Yeah, you did say. I mean, both of you said it well. It is rare. What the two of you have is special.
Yeah. I mean,
You
we've
don't
been
see
tested.
this much.
We've had a lot of tests, and coming out on the other side, knock on wood, it's an unbreakable friendship and bond. And, this is probably going to be one of our hardest and biggest tests, trying to get Blessn out to the public. So I feel confident that all those struggles we went through to get us to this point today is going to give us the strength to really push this app on and get people onto it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We've got thicker skin now.
yeah,
Well, look, from my end, I am going to do my best to promote the show, to get it out to potential listeners. Just like a PR agency, we're not magicians. We do our best to get in front of the right people.
Well, I mean, the conversation was great. So, I mean, if one or two people watch it, I think they're going to feel the vibes that we're all sharing here on this conversation. So, hopefully lots of people watch it, but the vibes that I'm getting and the vibes of this whole conversation feel really good.
Yeah, that's what people pick up. Attention span is changing so much, Like, you upload the episode, and you see, okay, how many people are going to dig it, vibe to it, and watch, the whole thing. Yeah. But where the gold is in the short content, that we create after this. That's when you see, okay, it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram Reels, it's on Facebook. And that's when now, the audience are like, yeah, okay, we're feeling this. Let's see what we can do with this, So if I had to ask you to give me one message about Blessn for the listeners, for the audience, to end the show, what would it be?
Oh, goodness. Oh, man.
I would say encouragers of positivity, encouragers of faith and positivity.
And connection.
And connection.
Connection.
How many words were you allowed to use?
And just the message.
Okay.
Yeah. Blessn is definitely a place for positivity and connection.
Yeah.
And I'd love it if people came aboard with that in mind, and we can keep it that way.
Yeah. And we encourage faith, we encourage, commitment to each other, and just all around positivity.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling positive. I'm really positive, and I feel that this is not going to be the end of us.
No, not please.
Yeah. We are definitely going to see each other, in the future to come. There's so much potential here, not just on the show, but what we can do outside the show as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I got to catch up on your other podcasts. So next time we can discuss that.
Yes.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I will definitely run it past, the calls for creating Team Human, about this conversation. I'll send it to him, once it's uploaded, listen to this. And I feel there's something there, there's something there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the type of person that will think of something and it comes because, it's good instinct. But now I have to think about, okay, how do I go about it? The logistics around this. It's easy to walk into the room. Hey guys, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know
Yeah.
how yet, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. The spirit will speak to you, and you'll,
Yeah,
it will come.
yeah,
It will come.
yeah. I'm all about like start and perfect. I don't need to perfect something before I want to release it to the market. I'm going to start
Oh,
and I'm going to launch it. And then I'm going to
Absolutely.
okay, fix,
Yes.
fix, do this. This works better. That does it,
Mhm.
That's what.
Yeah.
what it's
Never let perfection be the enemy of good enough.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin, Gerald. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Besides the website, where else can people find you online?
You need to download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.
Yeah. So you download Blessn there, and enjoy us. We're there. So if you want to reach out to us on Blessn, create an account, follow us, we'll follow you back. And you can also, if you're on the other platforms, there's a Blessn. Just Google. What do you look? Search for Blessn app on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. I think we're everywhere. We're brand new, so we're just getting content up there. But for the really good content, join Blessn.
Join Blessing. Yeah, love it. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure, and see you soon.
Oh,
All
thank
right,
you.
man.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us.
thank
Thanks
you
so
also.
much.
God bless you.
You as
God
well.
bless you.
Bye.